Hello everyone, I'm Amita Sharma. I hope you all are staying safe during this tough time of COVID pandemic. My today's video is on the topic of training and development. Training and development are said to be the very important areas of human resource management. Now, once an employee is being selected in the organization, or either it is an existing employee, for them, training and development programs are being organized on the organization in a regular intervals. So, first of all, understand what exactly training and development are, what are their terminologies. Along with that, in this, we will be studying the various importance of training, the various methods on training, and the administration of training program. So first of all, start with the basic terminologies under training and development. Difference between training, education, and development. So first of all, we'll understand these three. What is training? Training is a short term, task oriented, and targeted on achieving a change in attitude, skills, and knowledge in a specific area. When we talk about training, training is basically being given in the organization to an employee just to enhance their present skills to do a particular job, to do a specific job related task. The whole sole purpose of giving a training is short term because a particular training program is designed to enhance a particular skill of the employee so that he or she can do his job in a better manner. If someone is giving you a kind of training on how to approach the customers, then it is your task of selling your goods to someone else. So how you are going to sell that particular product to large number of customers, for that dealing is required. So what are the tips, how you need to start with, how you need to end with, everything is being included into. Then when we talk about training, so it is job oriented, task oriented. So it is shorter. Its bandwidth is shorter. When we talk about education, it is a lifetime investment. It tends to be initiated by a person in the area of his or her interest. By the education, we simply talk about the course, curriculums, the various degrees, diplomas, they all come under the part of education, the certifications. These are something which is having a long term impact. The time you stay in the society, these are having its own relevance in terms of if you want to join any corporates, academic, legal institutions, everywhere it is. Then the development. Development is again a long term investment in the human resource. When I say development, development is all about enhancing the overall personality, the overall behavior, the overall grooming of the employee. It is not focusing on a single application or a single area of expertise. Like I want you will be expert in Excel, you will be expert in PowerPoint, you will be an expert in making videos. No, this kind of training is already been restricted to training part only. But when we are focusing on enhancing your overall personality, overall grooming, that will be considered as a part of development. Organizations they conduct various development programs. It is somewhere or the other related with training programs, but their scope is broad. Now start with the training first. Edwin B. Flippo has defined training as the act of increasing the knowledge and skills of the employee for doing a particular job. Training is basically a systematic procedure of transferring technical know-how to the employee so as to increase their knowledge and skills for doing a particular job. Training is always being given in the organization for the newcomers as well as for the existing employees. The whole sole purpose of training the employee is to enhance their present skills that is being required in the job. Along with that, the main purpose of giving such kind of training is to increase the knowledge level of the employee so that your efficiency and effectiveness, your quality of work should increase so that you can give better performance to your. There are certain importance of a training program. Why training is important, how it is useful for the organization. The companies, they spend a huge amount of money in terms of training their employees, giving them short term, long term training. Sometimes the companies, they send their employees to abroad in different cities, right? So they do a lot of expenditure on their employees. So what is the purpose? How it is, why it is that much important that the company, they are providing the trainings to their employees? So these are some of the importance of training. We'll do one by one. Start with the very first one, that is better performance. When I say better performance, what does it mean? Better performance simply says that when a particular employee is being given a training program, his abilities and skills improves, and this particular improvement will lead to increase its performance in terms of quality and quantity. Better or increased employee performance will lead to organizational productivity, and in later on it will result in the overall profit of the organization. So when an employee is better trained, he know the entire technicalities of it, then in that case his skills, mental, physical, is also increased, and this will lead to his overall improvement in the performance, quality wise also, quantity wise also. Quantity in terms of the production. The second importance of training is improved quality. Improved quality means that on one side, if a proper training or a formal training, if we talk about systematic training, well designed training program, if it is being conducted in the organization, then the employee will lead to better quality of work in terms of their performance. Everyone will do a uniform work, right? So, for example, if I have given you a certain kinds of training program that how to operate certain things. Now, in that case, for operating a certain thing, I have given you the procedure. So it's a well planned and organized procedure. And everyone, when you are going to operate that thing, you all will be following a standardized procedure. This will result in quality. Along with that, the mistakes are going to get reduced down. The operational mistakes, like when we are performing some task, if we don't know how to operate it, we do lot many mistakes. Sometimes we follow this method, sometimes we follow some another method. But when we know the complete procedure of it, then all of us will follow the same procedure. And at the same time, the errors that we are getting in the past, this will reduce down now because of the better or complete proper training. Another importance is less supervision. Well trained workers are self reliant. They know their work and they know how to perform their work. If that thing is there, then it will lead to less supervision also. If a boss, they know that their employees know the things very clearly, they know how they need to do it, their operational mistakes are going down and down day by day, then in that case, automatically it will lead to less supervision. Because the bosses, they know that their employees can do the work with better quality and with good quantity. Less learning period. Another importance is less learning period. If an organization providing a well organized training program, then in that case also it will also take less time to understand. Most of the time there are n number of training programs which is being organized by the companies. But sometimes it is very unorganized way. Sometimes the systematic way they have not designed it. Sometimes the speakers are not that much good. So it will take a lot of time for the trainees to understand the concept. But if it is well organized one, then in that case it is very easier for the trainees to understand the concept, and at the same time the learning period for understanding it will be very much lesser. Then next is high morale. Training program which is being provided by the companies, that is not only going to improve their abilities and skills, but on the other hand these trainings will lead to their job satisfaction, right? If you are going to give the better performance, your job security will also be there, right? You will be getting various benefits in the organizations, like your salary will increase, more chances for promotions will be there, good increments will be there. So automatically, this will happen only when you do the job better. Your performance increases, the quality of work increases. If the boss will take very less time of supervision with you, then automatically he believes that you are the right person to who can handle this work. So in that case, the more chances will be that you will be getting good increments, good promotions, good salary hikes. So this is actually going to increase your morale. Then move to the next one, that is the personal growth. Personal growth means training improves the employee ability, knowledge, skills, and prevents the employee's obsolescence. This makes actually the employee growth oriented. Another importance of training is favorable organizational climate. If such kind of training programs are being organized in the companies on a regular basis and all the employees are well trained, then it will lead to a very positive organizational culture. And with this particular organizational culture, the healthy environment is there. Or people, they uh, hardly resist to change, right? Proper discipline is there, proper hierarchy system is there, proper relationship between employees and management is there. At the same time, different more useful programs the companies they conduct on a regular basis, and they are actually the stability of employees there in the organization. The employees, they stay in an organization for a longer period of time. The chances of labor absenteeism reduce down, and at the same time it will lead to less labor turnover as well. So these are the various importance of training. That is why the organizations, they conduct the training programs for their employees. Now, what all are the various trainings programs are? What all are the methods of training? How the trainings, in what all are the ways through which the training is being provided in the organization? So we'll go one by one. First is, there are two methods of training. First is on the job training and another is off the job training. On the job training is when the employee, they are learning while doing a job. On the job training is when workers are taught relevant knowledge, skills, and abilities at their actual workplace, in which on the one hand they are working and on the other hand they are learning. So thus this kind of training is said to be on the job training. Under on the job training, we have job instruction training, we have coaching, we have job rotation. We'll study them all in detail. Then another training is off the job training. Off the job training simply talks about when the particular employee is learning apart from their workplaces. Like Under this method of training, the trainee is separated from the job situation and his attention is completely focused on learning and the material that is related to their job, right? In this particular case, the employee is not learning. The employee is not working while learning. So he will be completely learning the entire training program, right? At this time, he is not working or doing a particular, uh, doing any kind of. His main purpose is to acquire the knowledge that has been provided through a training program. Both the training programs are important and they have their own benefits. It is dependent on the company that what kind of training program they want to provide to their employees. Start with the very first method of training, that is on the job training. The very first training method is job instruction training. What is job instruction training? In this method, a trainer or the supervisor gives an instruction to an employee how to do his job in the four-step process. What they do first? First of all, there are four steps through which job instruction training is being given to the employees. First is preparation. In this, the trainee received an overview of the job, its purpose, and the desired outcome, with a clear focus on the relevance of the training, right? Then the presentation. The trainer is going to give you a small brief presentation on the job related task and a model that you are going to work on. After presentation, there is a performance. The trainee is asked to try the trainer's instruction, right? And it is, you need whatever the trainer has told you, you need to show in terms of what you have understood, your performance, and you need to do it again and again until unless you don't do it in the right way, right? Then we have finally the trainee does the job independently without the supervision. So basically, job instruction training, four phases may be usually conducted. First is preparation, then presentation, then performance, and then the follow-up. Basically, in this way, we finally see that whether the employee is able to do that particular job independently or not. The second method of on-the-job training is coaching. Coaching is a daily training or a feedback system that is being followed by the supervisor. It involves a continuous process of learning. Like, say, for example, there is a boss and they have an employee on a daily basis. He will be asking you, telling you certain things to do. And while walking at the corridor, he'll be looking at you that what are the things that you are doing. It is moreover in an informal manner, unplanned training is there. Because in coaching, you can't sit or you are not having a particular room where you will be teaching them for 3 hours and like this. No, while doing a particular job, your supervisor will tell you certain points in which you need to work on. And accordingly, they will be asking you what you have done, what you have not done, what are the problems that you are finding. So with this particular way, while working your job, you will get the it's a kind of mentorship or a coaching you will be getting. In the coaching, the supervisors explain the things, answer questions. He throws light on why the things are done the way they are. So these are the basic, what we can say, mentorings that is being done under the case of. Then job rotation. Job rotation, as we had discussed so many times, that job rotation means when a trainee moves from one job to another, from one area of work to another. Job rotation means when you are simply putting yourself to some other area of work, right? It may be similar, it may be somewhere or other different from one another. The whole sole purpose of rotating an employee from one job to another is to improve their multitasking skills, make him flexible, make him operationally flexible, so that if in organization, if there is anyone is absent or if someone is not coming, if someone leave the organization, the work should not get suffered. Everyone employee who is somewhere or the other doing different tasks, they should know each one's task, so that there should not be any problem. The cross-trained personals offer a great amount of flexibility for organization, because this is also very much useful in terms of replacements, in terms of transfers and promotions. So this method is useful for the organizations in terms of their performance appraisal as well. Now the next method is off the job training. Off the job training, as we had known that it is a specified or a special training that you will be getting, in which the employee is not performing any kind of work while learning. Now we'll go one by one. First is role play. This is just like acting out a given role in a stage. Same like whenever we are conducting in the organization any kind of role plays for the trainees. In this way, we give certain kinds of roles to the different trainees. And say, for example, if we are doing an activity or a role play of a company itself with different departmental employees or managers, we give them different kinds of roles, like certain kinds of designations, and we are giving them certain written document, or orally we are telling them the description of a particular situation. Now you need to narrate that situation by your own experiences or by your own abilities. Right, so this is a way through which the interaction takes place among the employee. Interpersonal skills develops in an employee, right? So this particular kind of role play is very much useful for the organization, because once you play that particular role, you get connected with that particular situation. Now the next is case study method. Case study method, this is an actual event or a situation or an organizational problem that is being given in the form of a written document, maybe in PowerPoint presentation slide or maybe a hard copy of the document. Now, this is a case study which has been, or a situation or a problem of a company or any product which has been given to the trainees. Now, these problems we need to analyze, right? Now, when any company, from a successful company, they uh, loses its customer base, market value, market share. Now, in any kind of case study, certain problem is there, right? So, it is that particular problem is being defined through a written description and with certain questions. Sometimes there are two, three questions are there. Now, the whole purpose of giving a case study to the employee is, or the trainee is, that they should analyze the problem, analyze the circumstances, right? Trace out what all are the causes of it, and find out if they will be in that particular position or they will be in a very superior position, then how they are going to overcome that particular problem. Therefore, this method is suitable for developing decision making skills among the top and the middle level. So this is a very important exercise under the training. Then we have management games. Under the management games, what basically we do in the management games, uh, there is certain games are being designed, business games, business models are there. Then the trainees are being given, are basically being divided under different groups, maybe companies, maybe departments. Like they create a real life situations, and you know they Decisions made by groups are evaluated, and likely implications of the decisions are the feedback of the groups. So, there are different rounds that we usually play in that. Right, on communication basis, we have different games. On strategy making, we have different games. So usually on a group-based activity of 2, 4, 6, 8, we usually conduct such kind of games, right? How it is different from role play? In role play, we are giving them a certified role or a certified situation. In games, it is said to be an interconnected activity, right? In which we will be giving you certain kinds of, models, or in which each one of you have to perform it in within a group itself. Now, in basket exercise we call it as in-tray method also of training. It is something that it is basically been considered as incoming mail of a manager. With considering that particular perspective in mind, it has been said as in basket exercise. Mine means in a daily basis in the organization. You get so many incoming mails, right, from different people. Now, how you are going to respond with it, that is all about this training. The trainee is being presented with a pack of papers and files in a tray containing certain kinds of administrative problems. Right? In a tray, there are so many problems which are being coming on your way. So now you need to, while understanding those problems, how you are going to take the decisions, right? How you are going to give your own valuable feedback on those particular problems. That is all about in basket. Then the last is your under the off the job training is vestibule training. Vestibule is a kind of a training in which employee learns the job on the equipments they will be using, right? Any kind of machineries on which you are going to work. That is the kind of training which is being given on them, right? But the training is conducted away from the actual work floor. But in this, we are going to create that kind of environment in which you will be given a training. This type of training is commonly used for clerical, semi-skilled grades of the job, and the duration of such kind of training ranges for few days to few weeks. So this is all about of the job training. Then the third category of training is knowledge-based methods. Right. When I say knowledge-based methods, it basically covers lectures, conferences, and program instructions. Start with the lecture first. Lecture is, as most commonly use a direct method of training. In this method, the trainer provides their knowledge to the trainee with a lecture mode. It can be through PowerPoint, through a whiteboard method, or through any way, right? It is a kind of a classroom method through which the training will take place. This method usually being followed. It is a kind of a talk. Now, this method is found most appropriate in situations where some information is required to be shared with large number of people. Right. So, because when you have 100, 200 plus employees, then maybe 50 plus as well, in which we usually follow the lecture. We have large number of audience, and most importantly, where you need less participation. Right? If we are going for more participation, then we usually have limited number of employees. But if we are going for more participation, sorry, if we are going for more number of participation, we usually take less number of people, and if we want to go for less participation, we'll go for lecture. Now the next is conferences. In this method, the trainer deliver a lecture and involves the trainee in the discussions so that his doubts are going to get clarified. Now, usually conference is a very broader term. Like in the companies, they conduct different kinds of conferences, academics, organizations, universities. Now, the whole sole purpose of conducting the conferences is to get a vast knowledge from different people of the society. It is not actually restricted to limited area only. It may be national, it may be international, where people from different backgrounds they will be coming together under one platform and sharing their knowledge and doubts. So this is again one of the platforms through which the learning takes place. Then we have programmed instructions. Programmed instructions, it is a technique which is being used to teach non-motors and behavioral skills. You know, the trainers monitor trainees independently under this and through this particular program. The trainees they get the instant feedback on their learning by their trainers. Now this method is actually very much time consuming and even very expensive too. But this is a very systematic and organized method through which the learning takes place in the organization. Now the last topic for our video is administration of training program. Administration of training program simply talks about that whenever the organizations they are conducting the training program, what all are the things that they need to keep in mind, how a particular training program is being conducted, right? So for example, you are conducting this college students, they conduct their cultural fest, they conduct their various kinds of competitions, different kinds of programs we are conducting. So before planning for that, before actually happening that program, there is certain administration we need to do prior so that the program can be conducted in a better manner. So how the administration of training program is being done in the organization? These are the five important areas which any organization or the employee they need to keep in mind for conducting a proper program. The very first is training content. Designing of training content depend upon the objective of training. It's very true that whenever we want to design any kind of training content means what is all about that training is. Either it is what we can say human relation based training, either it is a technical training, right? Either it is said to be a what we can say sports related training. What kind of training content would be? It completely depends upon what is the objective of the training. What is the whole sole purpose of training? First of all, we need to determine the whole sole purpose of conducting the training, and according to that, we are going to design that what content we are going to cover in the training program, right? So that is the very first thing. Or if, say for example, the purpose of training is to focus on human relations. So what would be the content? The content would be interpersonal competencies, social abilities, superior subordinate relationship, right? So it should be related with the right. The training content are also influenced by the level of participation in the training program. In a training program for the employee working at higher level, focus should be more on the theories, concepts, and the framework. On the other hand, if a training is being provided for the lower level, then the emphasis will be more application based and the technique based, right? How to do that particular thing, everything will be based on the purpose of the training, and accordingly the content will be designed. The second point is type of training program. The objective of a training may also be influenced by the type of training to be imparted to the employees. Say, for example, what kind of training program that we want to organize. Like we want to conduct induction training, we want to give supervisory training, we want to conduct any kind of management development. What type of training we want to provide, we need to decide. Then training location. Once all the training purpose, its content, what kind of training you want to conduct is decided, then you need to decide where you are going to provide the training, right? This is a task that you need to do prior, right? Then only you are going to invite the other people on that particular training program. Okay, implementation of training involves whether the organization should send its employees to the for an external program, or the organization they are going to offer a training program within their organization, right? So we need to decide that we are going to provide an in-house training, or we are providing a training program outside, or we are sending the employees outside. We are conducting in some hotels or something like that. Okay? Now, how we are going to decide the location? When employees number to be trained is small, then sponsoring of an employee to a program offered by some external agencies would be better because the cost is less. If you want to train a similar small number of employees and someone else is sponsoring it, and there is some in different country or maybe different state, some program is training program is going on, then you are going to select some employees and send them out there for the training. So it is more beneficial for the company. But if the large number of employees they need to be trained, then in that case you need to conduct the in-house training. So the location should be within the organization. So that would be better, right? Then I hope the training location is clear. Then the training budget. A training budget for each program has to be prepared by the company, right? Say, for example, it will include the cost of different facilities that you are going to be included into it. Like you need a training room in which you will be conducting a training program, maybe for a 2 days, 5 days, maybe for a week. You need to decide that. Then food you need to arrange, right? Half meals, morning snacks, high teas, then lunch you need to arrange, right? If some trainer is coming from outside, some people from different branches or from different states, they are also joining the training. You need to work on their transportations, lodging, right? That if you are calling a trainer from outside, he will charge certain amount of money. That again, the cost of the trainer is also there. If he is going to give you some materials, you need to purchase that thing also. Some basic material you need to buy, right? Besides that, the wages and salary of employees participated in the program should also be taken into consideration as the cost of training. Along with that, if some of the employees who are going to attend the training program and on behalf of them, some others are doing the job, that is again being considered into it, right? They will be doing some overtime, the extra work they will be doing. So that will all be counted under the training budget. We need to prepare it. At that particular training, what is the overall cost? Then we have the last point under the administration of training program is lead time. When I say lead time, in both the cases, either it is an in-house training, right, or you are nominating some of the employee for some external training program. Trainer needs sufficient time for the same. Say, for example, you are conducting an in-house training program, the trainer need to do a background work in terms of course design, in terms of making out the entire budget plan, in terms of identifying what kind of training program we want to conduct, everything, right? Uh, Training material designing. uh, how we are going to do the registrations, how we get the nominations, how to arrange the classrooms, how the entire material which has been required for conducting the training, different kinds of food, accommodations. For managing all such things, what is the time duration which is being required? Right, say for example, when in universities we conduct cultural program. So if you conduct a big fest, it takes 1 or 2 minutes, 2 months prior, 1 or 2 months lead time to conduct that particular fest in a better way. So lead time is something, the time which is being required for conducting that particular program. Either it is 10 days, 1 week, depend on the kind of program we want to conduct. So this is all about the complete training part, how it is being conducted, what are the methods through which it is being conducted, and for conducting a better training program, what all are the things which are being required for its administration. Thank you so much.